If the card for UFC 259 turns out to be anything like it appears on paper, we could be looking at the best event of the year before we've even reached summer. The main event sees Poland's Jan Blachowicz defend his light heavyweight title for the first time against middleweight champion Israel Adesanya. The stakes are huge for both men. If Adesanya wins, he'll be the first UFC fighter to have won the 185 and 205 titles, which is arguably the most impressive double champ status due to the huge jump between weight classes. Now, a win for Jan is no less impressive, as he'll be the first man to hand Adesanya a loss in MMA, as well as taking on a lot of the hype that Adesanya has built up. In terms of the matchup itself, I think anyone fighting Adesanya right now is in for a tough fight considering his recent performances. It'll be a hard matchup for Jan as he has a relatively basic striking arsenal compared to Adesanya, but I still believe there are some areas he could focus on to find success against Israel. Now, the first and most obvious area where Jan could find success is by taking the fight to the ground and, more importantly, keeping it there. For a start, Adesanya is arguably the best switch stance fighter in MMA right now, but his game is slightly different depending on what stance he's in. If he's standing orthodox, Adesanya works mainly behind his jab and low kick, then progresses towards longer boxing combinations in the pocket after he's made some reads. On the other side, when Adesanya is southpaw, he often relies on single power strikes that are more effective in an opposite stance matchup. These are the left straight, left front kick, left round kick to the body, and left head kick. Now, why does this matter in terms of Jan getting the fight to the floor? I think trying to take Adesanya down against the cage is a losing battle because his team at City Kickboxing places a huge emphasis on cage wrestling. In my opinion, the best place for Jan to attempt a takedown against Adesanya is in the open, where Adesanya can't use the cage to stay up or get back up. And the best way he can do this is by taking Adesanya down after catching one of his kicks. Kick catches are underutilised in MMA. You only have to watch a high level Muay Thai contest to see how easily someone can be thrown on their back after their kick has been caught. Since Adesanya kicks far more frequently as a southpaw, there are more opportunities where Jan can have Adesanya balancing on one leg. This could be a great opportunity for Jan to get a quick foot sweep or transition into a single leg and work his chain wrestling as he has shown in the past. Now, it's important to realise there's a high chance that Jan can't take Adesanya down and he's forced to strike with him. Now, this is obviously not ideal for anyone facing Adesanya, but there are some areas that Jan could focus on. If I could sum up what I think Jan's striking strategy should be, it would be this: patience, low kick, left hook. For a start, Jan has to be patient in his approach to the striking. He has to accept that he'll probably get hit a lot more than he likes. Adesanya showed against Brunson that he can deal with someone recklessly rushing in to attack him. Jan also has this tendency to blitz in and attacks with little setup, and he was even caught rushing in by another middleweight in Thiago Santos. Adesanya likes it when people come to him so he can counter. We saw against Romero that Adesanya is far less active if he's the one forced to lead the dance. Now, obviously, I don't want Jan to recreate the shit show that was Adesanya versus Romero, but he should definitely take his time in the opening rounds of the fight so he doesn't get caught early with one of Adesanya's counters. The next area that Jan should focus on in the striking is the low kicks. Adesanya has possibly the best cage awareness in the whole sport, and this definitely stems from his kickboxing career, where lateral footwork is far more difficult in the ring because it's harder to avoid getting trapped in the corners. Now, this obviously isn't a problem in the cage because there aren't any corners to get stuck in. If Jan wants to get any of his striking game going, he needs Adesanya to be in range long enough for him to land. The best way to get someone to stay still is by damaging their legs. One way that Jan could land his low kicks is by getting Adesanya to use his lean back defence. Because of Adesanya's height and reach advantage, he frequently uses the lean back. This defence is great for pulling the head out of the way of strikes, but isn't great for defending leg kicks, as the lead leg is always the last body part to leave range. If Jan can read when Adesanya leans back, he might be able to effectively land his leg kicks. Taking away the lean back leads on to the third weapon I think Jan could try and use against Adesanya in the striking. I think Jan's biggest weapon in winning this fight on the feet could be his left hook. However, I only think it will be useful if Jan can stop Adesanya using the lean back. The reason I don't think the left hook will be effective against Adesanya if he's leaning back is because Adesanya has a phenomenal long left hook, and he can land it without much fear of getting countered because he has such a long reach advantage over most of his opponents. Now, I know the reach is pretty similar between Adesanya and Jan in this fight, but Jan prefers using a shorter left hook that he throws in tighter quarters. This won't really work against Adesanya if his head is pulled back out of range and could even leave Jan exposed to getting hit by Adesanya's left hook. There are two ways that Jan could stop Adesanya leaning back so that he can land his own left hook. The first is to damage Adesanya's left leg because, like I said before, Adesanya does the majority of his boxing combinations and therefore lean backs from the orthodox stance. The next is to get Adesanya backed up against the cage where his reach advantage isn't useful. If Jan can get Adesanya's back foot against the fence, Adesanya will be forced to shorten his stance, making him stand taller. This will make his boxing less effective as the centre of gravity is now further from the ground. From here, Jan would be in perfect range to land the short left hook that he prefers, and he wouldn't really have to worry too much about the counter left hook of Adesanya because it'll have less power due to him being in a taller stance. Now Jan needs to use all three of these approaches if he's going to be successful in the striking. One won't be enough against a fighter as smart as Adesanya. He needs to be patient to get his low kicks going and needs the low kicks to land his left hook. Of course, during all of these strategies, he should be looking to take the fight to the ground at any opportunity. This is going to be a tough fight for Jan, and I think he's going to have to fight the perfect fight if he's going to beat Adesanya, but with a disciplined game plan, I think Jan could definitely defend his title and hand Adesanya his first mixed martial arts defeat.